Hey guys, how you going?
Hey Vic, good to see you again. And congrats on signing with the Phoenix. Is this like quite an exciting move for you? You know, being a New Zealander who's been playing overseas for so long to come back and finally play for a professional team in the country.
Yeah, definitely. It's really exciting for me. I think when I was looking to try and obtain a professional contract, there were no opportunities in New Zealand, so I had to go offshore. And that's how I landed myself in Norway. So to be able to come back 7.5 years later and have the opportunity to play back home, it's a phenomenal opportunity. I can't wait to get started.
You've been playing at a high level, with Rangers, and you're the starting goalkeeper for New Zealand now. So why is the time right to make this move home?
I think, yeah, 7.5 years in Europe is a decent chunk of time. I've enjoyed my time in Europe, but I miss New Zealand. I love New Zealand, and with my contract coming to an end at Rangers, I was wanting to look for a new opportunity regardless. So yeah, when I was looking for opportunities and the Phoenix came up, they put forward a really good case, and they seemed well organized. The Australian League is a competitive league, and I just think it was a good fit at the right time for me to go home.
Yeah, because there's been quite a few impressive signings, and I'll include you in that as well, Vic. But do you get a sense that there is a lot of ambition being shown by this Phoenix team? I mean, I know the way when they were first put together, it was quite rushed. It was based in Australia. It was a lot of young players, but it seems like after 4 years, there's a big attempt this season to try win the competition. And was that something that did you get a sense of that as well during your negotiations?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's as I mentioned, it's a tough league. It's a close league, so you can't just have ambitions to win the league and expect to win the league. I think you need to bring the players in order to set the team up to have a chance at winning the league, and then it's also how the coaching staff and the players can manage themselves and get the results throughout the season. But yeah, it's definitely the ambitions are there, and I think and I hope that they're achievable ambitions. But we'll soon find out once we get hit the ground running later in the season.
Yeah, and just a final one from me before I pass on to Barry. I guess the elephant in the room with the Phoenix women's team is we're all expecting Bev Priestman to be the head coach when her ban lapses. Is someone who was part of the Olympics and involved in that drone spying scandal and stuff, if she does end up being the coach, can you just sort of talk about like as football fans, like, are you not actually bothered by something like that, or is that someone who would be quite an exciting coach to work under, like just from a player's perspective? Can you offer any insight there?
Yeah, I think we don't know who's going to be the coach, but what I can say is that the Phoenix were well organized when I spoke to them, and the staff I spoke to um, gave me a sense of comfort that they have a good set of coaching staff in place. Regarding your question about what happened at the Olympics, I think, yeah, it was, I'm sure it was a difficult time for Bev, and it didn't have too much of a direct impact on our team, I don't think, although you never know. But that's in the past, and I'm just looking forward to joining the Phoenix, and whatever coaching staff we have, I'm sure they'll be well fit for the team, and that we can have a good season together.
Great, thanks.
Hi,
Thanks
Victoria.
for
Barry Guy from RNZ Sport in Wellington.
Hi, Barry.
Hello, how are you? Just firstly, the Rangers connection with, um, goodness, your name has just gone out of my head, Tessel. Uh, did you discuss a move together, did you?
I think, when there's multiple players looking for new contracts, we always try to help each other as much as we can. And I think the best agent are your own teammates, figuring out what team needs what goalkeeper and what centre back. So yeah, I think this way we've helped each other to find a club, and I hope it's a good season for both of us.
And just about the Australian League, I don't know how much were able to follow it, and also how the Phoenix were doing. But have you been able to gauge perhaps where they're at, how they fit, what they can do in the league?
Yeah, I definitely keep an eye on the A-League. I have from afar, all the years that it's been running, and I've seen it progress, I think, each year. I know the first year was an extremely tough year, and then the second year was the first one they're actually doing the long travel back and forth. So there is difficulties with a New Zealand-based team being in the league, but I think the ambition is there to not let that be a disadvantage. I like the idea of how competitive the league is, and it seems that each year the top teams kind of vary a little bit. So that's exciting for me because I think where a team stands the year before might not necessarily reflect where they will stand the next year, for good or for bad. So yeah, that's an exciting prospect for me because it's all up for grabs.
You touched on it, how you had to go overseas when you sort of started your international career. So how difficult is that? And is it, I suppose there are more options now for New Zealanders to look in Australia and that sort of thing. I mean, you know, should they always be looking to go to Europe or the States or something, young players?
Well, I think that's a difficult one, Barry, because years ago we never had a New Zealand team, and New Zealand players count as visa players in Australia. So there wasn't unlimited opportunity just to jump across the ditch and join whatever team we wanted. Hence why a lot of players had to go to America and to Europe. For me, Europe was an amazing opportunity to get my pro career started. And I'm really thankful that I had the opportunity to go to Norway and get my first 3 years of pro football under my belt. And now I've got an opportunity to come back. But I think it's amazing that there is a pathway that young people in New Zealand can now see. And it's a viable pathway. It's not, oh, you need a team in Aussie to give you a visa spot in order to play in the league. It's now like we have our own opportunities in New Zealand, and that's a pathway which I think a lot of players should look to try and take. And then there's also, Europe and America, professional and college. So now there's multiple pathways because you can't say that one should fit all. I think it's a good opportunity to see what would fit the individual and then follow that one.
And obviously goalkeepers are sort of the voice, the organizer from the back and that sort of thing. But what perhaps do you come to the Phoenix hoping to offer sort of personally?
Yeah, I hope to offer connection, connection on the field with my teammates and connection off the field. I think it's important to be a good teammate, to drive standards in training. I hope to bring good goalkeeping first and foremost. But I also hope, off the field to show leadership, probably more of a lead by example sort of person, but also just building connections with people. I think there's a lot more to the football player than the football. So yeah, just having good conversations with my teammates and trying to learn a little bit more about like their why and what drives them on a daily basis. Because I do think that will help us when we're on the field and we're maybe in the 90th minute and struggling, and we need to look to our side and say, right, well, what's really driving this person now? They're not just my teammate, they're someone that I really care about.
And just a last one, I don't know how widely known this is, but friends, extended whānau, are they getting the chance to maybe now watch you play back here? And I don't know if that's a first for many of them. Is they excited about that?
Yeah, I think so. So I'm originally from Christchurch, but I do have some family and friends in Wellington. So I think my mum's delighted I'm coming home. She'll probably be the first to book flights to all the home games. But yeah, for me, it's an amazing opportunity that I will be able to see my family a little bit more often. It's been an amazing 7.5 years in Europe, but it's also really tough being so far from home. So yeah, I can't wait to play football in my home country and see my family and friends a little bit more who I haven't managed to see so much in the last wee while.
Right. Thank you.
Vic, I just got a few more. So when you talk about like the parity of the league being an attraction, can you just talk a little bit more about that? So like in Scotland, there's a few teams that are very good, but is the gulf quite high between them and the rest? And is that genuinely something that does appeal to about the A-League that all the games are competitive and why is that important as a player?
Yeah, that's definitely appealing for me as a goalkeeper. I think the Scotland League is an amazing league. It's still a developing league. There's five full-time teams or four fully pro teams in the league. But there's 12 teams in the league, dropping down to 10 next year, but there's been 12 in my 3 years here. So it does mean that some games, we're a full-time pro team competing with a team who's part-time, with all the girls have full-time jobs, and it's so tough for them trying to play against a full-time team. And some of the scores have become quite large at times. That's a different test as a goalkeeper. That's a really big mental test to try and stay focused in a game. But I like to be challenged, and I think the games where we're winning by double figures, I'm not being challenged as much on a weekly basis. So I think in order for me to continue to grow my game, and to feel like I'm still developing as a goalkeeper, the competitive nature of the league is definitely enticing for me.
And are you excited about the prospect too of helping develop the next generation of goalkeepers? I guess, if the goalkeeper union stays the same, it'd be you, Amy Daniele, and Brooke Neary, who are two age group goalkeepers. So is that exciting to help bring through, the next generation of professional goalkeepers and football fans too?
Yeah, definitely. I think as much as I try to keep an eye on what's happening back home, it is hard to, I'm not on the ground, so it is hard to keep an eye on, who's developing and who's come through. And sometimes, like on Fern's tours, we've had like players, for example, Manaya, who've come on tour, and she's been awesome. And she's come and played through the Phoenix, and so I think it's a good opportunity to come home and kind of just get in touch a little bit more with players at home and see what's around. And yeah, I'm super keen to try and help develop the goalkeepers in New Zealand, and I'm working towards my goalkeeping badges as well to become a little bit more educated in the coaching side of things. But for now, I'm still focusing on being a player, and I'll try and pull the other goalkeepers along with me. But yeah, definitely excited to see who's out there and what kind of future they could have as a professional footballer.
Yeah, and this Phoenix team seems to have always had a strong former Canterbury Pride, mainland Pride connection. Are you looking forward to, potentially reconnecting with some of those players? And have you tried to convince Annalie to go back for another season?
Yeah, it's amazing. I guess New Zealand's not that big, right? So you don't have to look too far to come across a Canterbury Pride player. When looking at the only professional football team in New Zealand. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to coming home. I'll be in Christchurch first, doing some training, and I'm sure I'll connect with a few of my ex-teammates down there, and then the same goes in Wellington. But yeah, haven't spoken to Flea too much about her continuing on, but whatever she ends up doing, I wish her the very best, and I can 100% wholeheartedly say she's left the shirt in a better place, and she's driving football forward in the right direction for women. So, as one of her teammates and one of the people who have um, benefited from what Flea's done for football, yeah, I'm very grateful for her.